The Halo franchise is one of, if not the best universes in the gaming industry. Not only having games, but also novels, comics, films, and animated shorts, always bringing more lore to Halo as a whole. With that said, even if you've never played any of the Halos, there's no doubt in my mind that you've at least heard about Halo in some form or way. All of it started back in the year 1999 with Halo being shown at the Macworld conference for the first time, and it was coming to Mac and Windows PC early in the following year. But then Microsoft got a hold of Bungie and wanted Halo to be released on their upcoming console, Xbox, which was to be released on November 15th of 2001. Once they acquired Bungie, Microsoft wanted them to strictly focus on making Halo an FPS. Then in 2000 at E3, they showed the first trailer for Halo CE. Now we can all agree that if Microsoft didn't acquire Bungie for their Halo video games, the Xbox most likely would have died not long after its release. But because of Halo, Microsoft was able to push their Xbox through the door. I remember as a kid, the first time I saw Halo CE, I was at my cousin's house with my brother back in 2003, and I would watch them play co-op, and the first mission I saw them playing was Assault on the Control Room. Seeing them fight off these aliens, how funny it was to see the grunts running away saying some funny lines after the elite was killed, it made me laugh to the point I teared up sometimes. It was really funny. But what got me the most at the time were the vehicles. When they finally got down to the ground and seeing them drive the Warthog, it looked amazingly fun. Especially when they got the tank shortly after, blowing everything up in their way. But sadly, I never had a chance to play Halo CE until after Halo 2 was released. After seeing my brother and my cousin play Halo, both my brother and I begged our parents to buy us an Xbox for Christmas. Then the following year of 2004, I saw the Halo 2 trailer.
Rated M for mature.
God, I still get goosebumps after watching it all these years, reminding me just how excited I was to get my hands on Halo 2. But shortly after, Christmas came. My brother and I walked into the kitchen, and immediately our eyes were wide and our jaws dropped to the floor, seeing our first Xbox with Halo 2 sitting right next to it. We didn't even miss a beat after we saw it. We went and hooked up the Xbox, put in Halo 2, and jumped right into the co-op campaign. As a kid of that time, it was definitely one of my most happiest moments in my life. And from that point on, after Halo 2, I was permanently hooked into the Halo universe. But enough about me. Let's jump into my personal opinion about Halo 2. If you're enjoying the video, please do hit the like button and consider also hitting the subscribe button if you enjoy what you're seeing. Also hit the bell icon if you want to stay up to date with every new video I upload. If you want to watch me play games live, head on over to my Facebook page. It's named Yoshime8. If you get here and if you enjoy what you see, please hit the like button and also follow so that you can always be up to date when I'm streaming. Seeing the main menu for the first time, I remember being stupid excited. The background looked amazing, Earth looked nice, and then the Covenant ship being above the city as it's showing a big threat to everybody below. It was just absolutely amazing. I really can't put it in any other words than that. But the music. The music, man. Absolutely beautiful. Before you start the campaign, you have to choose between 4 options for your difficulty. You have easy, normal, heroic, and legendary. Easy's primarily a difficulty to play when you ain't got nothing else better to do. You'll just jump into easy and glitch out of maps and look for secrets. Have fun with it. Normal is the difficulty for those that want to familiarize themselves with an FPS in Halo's mechanics. Heroic, in my opinion, is the best difficulty to play on any of the Halos. It offers you the best challenge, plus the availability to still mess with the weapon sandbox within its game. But Legendary,
My ass!
is where everything you've learned about Halo sandbox and mechanics is pushed to the wall. But before getting into the story of Halo 2, I wanted to say real quick that I played this on Legendary and beat it for this particular review. But I will get into the Legendary gameplay after I talk about the story a little bit. So the first two missions, the Heretic and the Armory, can only be played in single player. The rest of the missions can be played in co-op. But Heretic is only a cutscene, though it does a really good job on informing the player what's going on after the events of the first game. On the Covenant side, within High Charity, an elite named Thelvadam, I hope I said that right, is being questioned by the prophets in a court-like setting for his failure to protect Halo and being branded and marked as a heretic. While on the human side, the Master Chief on a space station above Earth is being rewarded and being cheered for Halo's destruction. This to me was absolutely amazing. I loved every little bit of it. Not only that we got the recap about what happened on the previous game, we are also for the first time seeing the Covenant side. Get to see how they work and how their ranks are and how they speak to each other. It's awesome to finally understand our enemy a little bit more while playing Halo. After everything is said and done, eventually the space stations and Earth are under attack by the Covenant, which causes the Master Chief to say his legendary line,
I need a weapon.
Right this way.
As you go through the station helping your fellow Marines fight off the Covenant parties boarding your station, you come to find out and learn that they have brought a bomb with them. But after running down linear sections of the station, you go into space itself fighting off jetpack elites, which was pretty cool. That was awesome to see them using jetpacks. Eventually you make your way down to where the bomb is. Once you kill everybody around it, you deactivate the bomb, make a request.
Give the Covenant back their bomb.
Permission granted.
And you fly through space to the Covenant ship, kicking the bomb towards it, making you fly to safety as the Covenant ship explodes behind you in full glory. Ain't no telling how many kills he just got.
For a brick, he flew pretty good.
Chief, get inside. Gear up. We're taking this fight to the surface.
You arrive on Earth, specifically New Mombasa, to find out why the Covenant only landed in this one spot out of the entire planet. Then out of nowhere, you get cut off by this behemoth of a vehicle called the Scarab.
Whoa.
Shooting you down to the ground where you have to continue on foot with your fellow Marines. Going through the city, you encounter multiple Covenant troops and vehicles, making your way to the underground highway to catch up to the Scarab. Once you get on the bridge, Johnson meets up with you, giving you a gift, a tank, because...
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
To help you continue your defense against the invaders. At the end, you meet up with other Marines in a building. As the Scarab comes in, raiding on your party, you wait for the Scarab to get in the right position so you can jump on it. And once you're on, you kill everybody on board and you destroy the Scarab from within. But it turns out, after you do that, the Covenant ship is preparing to warp out of the city. Miranda Keyes acts fast in getting Chief and Johnson on board to the Ember Clad to chase after it. Once the warp was complete, it caused a massive explosion, almost destroying the entire city. We cut to High Charity, seeing Thelvadam being dragged by some brutes and the brute chieftain Tartarus, bringing him to the prophets. After the prophets tell the brutes to leave the room, they inform Thelvadam that this elite is spreading lies about the great journey. So they look at Thelvadam and they ask him to
Become the Arbiter.
which he gladly accepts.
What would you have your arbiter do?
Then you're sent down to a gas planet with a mining station in its atmosphere to find and kill this heretic. Before landing, we get to see what it means to be an elite when Vadam, I hope I said that right, gives a speech.
When we joined the Covenant, we took an oath.
According to our station, all without exception.
On the blood of our fathers, on the blood of our sons, we swore to uphold the Covenant.
Even to our dying breath.
Those who would break this oath are heretics, worthy of neither pity nor mercy. Even now, they use our Lord's creations to broadcast their lies.
We shall grind them into dust.
And continue our march to glorious salvation.
That made me really like the elites. They have a sense of strong honor and love for their fellow comrades. But you, the Arbiter, is looked down upon by the rest.
These are my elites. Their lives matter to me, yours does not. That makes two of us.
Landing on the platform, you and the others begin to move in. I have to say that being able to use active camo while playing the Arbiter, even though it didn't last long, it was a great addition to use to your advantage. Eventually, you run into this heretic you're after as he's running towards a Banshee telling his comrades to kill you. After chasing him with a Banshee of your own, you and Vadom enter the facility.
What is it? That stench. I've smelled it before.
Wait, that stench? Shortly after, you run into the Flood. They're starting to take over the whole station, and you still need to hunt down this heretic. Eventually, after going through the Flood in your own kind, you finally catch up to the heretic leader. He tries to tell you the truth, with the Oracle's help, but he can see that the Arbiter is far too gone from the truth, so he opens fire, trying to take you down. This was a decent boss fight, having to figure out which one was real after throwing down some holograms, but at the end, the heretic leader was brought down. Then Tartarus shows up, coming to pick you and the Oracle up to return to High Charity. Finally getting through the portal and coming out on the other side, you find out that the Covenant found another Halo.
Say what?
You and a couple of ODSTs drop to the ring's surface, pushing through the Covenant's defenses to hunt down the Prophet of Regret. Eventually, you are given another tank to help push through further. At the end, you enter this building, seeing a hologram of the Prophet. Cortana has to translate what the Prophet is saying.
I shall light this holy ring, release its cleansing flame, and burn a path into the divine beyond.
Pretty much.
Commander, we've got a problem.
Oh no, he's planning to activate the ring. Well, we can't have that now, can we? You push through and reach a gondola and ride it to the other side while defending your position. Once on the other side, you find what seems to be like an elevator. So you go in and whoa, I'm underwater. This looks awesome. Seeing this sunken city, especially on Halo 2 Anniversary, it's beautiful. Coming out on the other side, you continue your fight. You eventually ride another elevator and a gondola, but finally you make it to where the Prophet of Regret is hiding. You force your way in, you kill all of his guards, jump on the Prophet, and you punch him to death. This boss fight to me was the weakest out of the three in this game. After you walk out, feeling accomplished, you look up into the sky, and you can see that the Covenant ship is making ready to glass your position. So you run towards the water and jump in, but then something from far beneath wraps Master Chief up in its tentacle and pulls you under.
This is not your grave. But you are welcome in it.
Back on High Charity, we learn that the prophets are demoting the elites and giving power to the brutes. This is a big deal for the elite, for that the elites have always been the prophets' protectors. After such, we're given a new mission to retrieve and secure the icon.
You will journey to the surface of the ring and retrieve this sacred icon. With it, we shall fulfill our promise.
So we're off, flying towards the ring to a place which we all know is the library.
Lower the shield, Arbiter. I'll pick you up when you finish.
So you make your way through some narrow halls. You see some lights coming out of the walls where the sentinels spawn, including these little ones. Get out of my way! Coming to a pillar that you have to shoot or melee to open, dropping you down. After doing this a few times, you come to a room with 4 pillars, and oh my god, he's back! After hitting the 4 pillars, you go to the center and push a button. If you didn't kill this huge sentinel before, well, he's dead now. Taking a ride on this platform that's kind of like a gondola to make it to the other side. But oh no, it's the flood. Pushing through, you know that the humans are here too. After going through the structure, you eventually find yourself outside, and man, this is looking really bad. The flood is doing a lot of damage here. Some friendly elites drop down to give you a hand killing the flood. Then you run into Vadam, who didn't even know you were there.
Arbiter, what are you doing here?
After telling him that you're here to retrieve the icon, he gives an awesome speech.
We shall cut into the heart of this infestation, retrieve the icon, and burn any flood that stand in our way. The parasite is not to be trifled with. I hope you know what you're doing.
Just wow, man. No wonder Halo 2's characters are so rememberable. Now, this level is predominantly vehicle based, mounting up in a Spectre, demolishing the flood and the Sentinels till you have to go on foot to get on another ride similar to the gondola. At the end of this ride, you see Johnson and Keyes already there getting the icon. Arbiter jumps in, fighting them and pinning Johnson to the wall.
How you doing?
Shot at by Keyes before getting interrupted by Tartarus and his brutes. You found out quick something isn't right, and well, so we're back and we see the chief being pulled by this tentacle still, but it seems he's not underwater anymore. Eventually you see this big massive monster looking thing, and now we have officially met the flood leader, Gravemind. And he has something important to say, telling the Arbiter the truth about the ring.
There is still time to stop the key from turning, but first it must be found. You will search one likely spot, and you will search another.
He sends both of them out in 2 different locations to search for this icon. Chief appears in high charity, while the prophets are giving a speech.
Boo. The demon.
I've got to say this right here. This is the most frustrating start of a mission on Legendary. More on that later. You kill the brutes and press onward with Cortana helping with opening doors. You go down some grav lifts, rescue some Marines, and keep searching. Eventually you found out that apparently there's a civil war going on. The elites and brutes are killing each other. At the end, you reach this big room full of brutes, elites, hunters, battling it out while Breaking Benjamin's song, Blow Me Away, is playing in the background. This moment here was nothing but filled with high testosterone, seeing who will win in the end. Fun fact, Breaking Benjamin didn't receive a penny for this. They did it for free. Finally, we see the prophets and Tartarus getting ready to leave to the key ship, where they get ambushed by the flood. Near a structure on Delta Halo, the Arbiter arrives on a cliffside, picking up a plasma rifle and moving forward. He couldn't believe seeing all of his elite comrades killed by the hands of the brutes.
By the prophets, what have these brutes done? They have shed our brother's blood, and for that they must die.
Yes, they shall.
Going through some dark rooms, finding more of your allies along the way, killing all who oppose you, you'll end up outside again with your pals as a ghost shows up along with a lot of brutes trying to take you down. After killing them, you hop into a ghost, speeding your way through multiple checkpoints. At the end, you run into 2 wraiths and a lot of brute. Thank God there's a room full of weapons to take everything out. Then continuing your path, you run into your good old pal, Vandom.
By the rings, Arbiter. The counselors, are they
Murdered by the brutes.
vile, disloyal beasts?
You start off by walking up to the prophet that was nabbed by the flood, asking,
Your pal. Where's he going?
To finish what I started.
After he tells you, he dies, and some pelicans come crashing down with the flood coming out of them. You fight your way through and cross a couple of bridges, racing your way to reach Truth's key ship. Finally, you reach the lift that will take you to the key ship. Cortana stays behind, letting you know that if the ring does activate, she'll destroy the Amberclad to blow up everything around it including Halo, just like in the previous game. Chief lands on the key ship and rides along with Truth. But cutting back to the Arbiter, Vadam explains that Tartarus is in that particular structure in the back. Arbiter tells him that he has to stop him before he turns that key, and Vadam tells him, well, he just so happens to know a way in. While he drives the Wraith, you pilot a Spectre with another elite as your gunner, destroying brutes and ghosts and Wraiths themselves, pushing as fast as you can. Eventually, you finally see a Scarab, and now you know what Vadam meant by knowing how to get in that structure. When entering the facility, my jaw dropped, seeing that I had 2 hunters backing me up. This was pure awesomeness, to finally fight alongside some hunters. The deeper you get in, you'll run into some jail cells with your buddies in them. So you free them, and they help you continue pressing forward to the top of the facility. Reaching the top, the brutes have some humans in their grasp. After killing them, one human jumps onto the Scarab, taking control of it.
Listen, you don't like me, and I sure as hell don't like you. But if we don't do something, Mr. Mohawk's gonna activate this ring, and we're all gonna die.
Tartarus has locked himself inside the control room.
Well, I just happen to have a key. Come on, grab a banshee and give me some cover. Gonna know what's coming.
Holy sweet baby Jesus, it's Johnson, and he's willing to help you break into that structure where the icon is. So you hop in a Banshee, kill some tanks and other Banshees, and fly to the door. Now what's funny is that if you sit in front of the door, or anywhere really around the door, Johnson will get aggravated and tell you constantly to get out of the way. And eventually, if you don't, he'll start to count down and then shoot anyway.
You trying to get killed? Give me some room.
Now normally after the door is blown off, you're supposed to go on foot, but nah, I'm taking my Banshee with me.
Yeah, y'all didn't expect to fight a Banshee, did you?
You reach Tartarus, trying to explain what Halo is. Johnson comes in to help.
Don't shake the light bulb. If you want to keep your brain inside your head, I tell those boys to chill. Go ahead, do your thing.
But after Tartarus was told the truth, he couldn't believe that everything he was doing was for nothing but a lie. He hits Johnson with the Oracle, enforcing keys to insert the icon. So now you, Johnson, and your fellow elites have to bring down Tartarus. This boss fight is my favorite one out of the 3. Well, even though I'm in my Banshee. After a long battle, you finally put an end to the Brute Chieftain, as Keys hurries to grab the icon to stop the activation. Once she does, the Oracle shows up and explains to them that the other Halos out there are on standby mode since this one was almost activated, learning that there are more Halos now. The way to activate all of them is from the art. After this, we get to see Chief one more time as the Keys ship enters Earth's orbit, and when asked what he was doing on the ship,
"Sir, finishing this fight."
And then it just ends. Talk about getting blue balls. But this ending did grow on me, and I actually like it now. Well, besides at the very, very end where the Greymon is talking to Cortana. To me, honestly, Halo 2 has the best story out of all the Halo. The story is fantastic when I first played it, and it's still just as fantastic now. It was like I was watching a movie, especially when I was a kid. Halo 2 Anniversary's graphics is how I remember seeing the story when I was a kid. So now let's get into the gameplay. A little bit of it anyway. Carry up the 2 weapons with 2 different grenades, 4 each. Plus you can melee. 3 ways to kill your enemy, besides vehicles. But with the enemies that you have, there are a variety of them. To start, the grunts are mainly cannon fodder, easy to kill and scare off, but in numbers, they can be deadly. The jackals are more of a defensive type, holding the line to make sure you can't move up. Plus they have range with the carbine and beam rifle. The buggers act on guerrilla warfare tactics from both the ground and air, swooping in fast to mow you down, then retreat to lose your sight so they can do it again. The elites are like your counterpart. They lead their forces into battle, being able to dodge out of the way of your grenades and your gunfire. They also have shields to help their lifespan on the field. Hunters are tanky and travel in packs of 2, carrying a massive shield to block your bullets while shooting their beam cannons at you. And if you get close to them, they deal a heavy melee attack. Brutes have more health than the elites and can take a beating But when one of their own is killed, they go into a berserk mode, charging you head on with their boxing skills. The Flood doing everything they can do to swarm you and make sure you have nowhere to run. Their tactics are primarily in numbers and make sure all your escapes are non-existent. The Sentinels are these flying robots that shoot beams at you. All of these types of enemies have to be handled differently. One mess up and you'll die for sure. Most of the levels you play on, if not all, are very narrow and barely open, but at least there's small arenas to work with during combat. Now, Legendary on Halo 2. I freaking hate it. I absolutely hate it so much. It's just unbearable at times. The infamous sniper jackals. Well, I mean, we all know about this. They're god tier. Aimbots, cheating, excuse me. I mean, like, what the hell is this? On Metropolis, there's this spot where like 20 so sniper jackals spawn. If you don't try to spawn kill them, you're screwed. I knew while playing this on Legendary, I knew I was going to have to glitch out when I could, just to skip some unbearable part. But I also had the camo skull turned on, so I could at least have that small window to get the hell out of Dodge. Like here on Gravemine. Like, as soon as you start, you die. The HUD doesn't even load, your reticle isn't there, and you're already dead. Every single time. Screw that, man. This was one mission that the camo skull really came in handy. Able to turn camo as soon as I could see my gun, so I could back away and get into a defensive spot. Then the rocket flood, just as bad as they are in the first game. Man, these guys just suck. Even when you have a full shield and in a tank, they can still kill you in one shot. Like, why? Now, I know that Halo 2 was rushed and Bungie didn't have time to fine-tune the game, but Legendary is just unbearable. It's worse in co-op at times. The main reason is because the Iron Skull is permanently on, so if one of you die, it counts as both of you dying, and bam, you gotta go back to your previous checkpoint. All in all, I would just play on Heroic with some skulls turned on to make it closer to what Legendary is supposed to be. The multiplayer of Halo 2, obviously, the original Xbox Live shut down in 2009, so you can no longer play that online. However, thanks to X-Link Kai, I still like to play my Halo 2 on my original Xbox online through that. However, it's still great and very enjoyable to this day. Kind of. On MCC, the spawns on classic Halo 2 seem off, and it kind of feels more like Call of Duty spawns. Plus, the button combos are still there, which I'm not a fan of. If you're unlucky, you'll get into a match with tryhards that do nothing but button combos. Other than that, it's still really fun to play. Even with custom games, it's great. It is limited to what you can and can't do for different game modes. This is where the fan favorite game mode was born. Zombies. It can get tight when you're trying to reload your shotgun shell by shell while a swarm of zombie players are rushing your 20. Me personally though, every time I play Halo, I love doing Rumble Pit. Now back in the day for both Halo 2 and 3, I was a god in Rumble Pit, rarely ever losing the first place position. It kind of saddens me now because I suck compared to my old self. There were a good amount of game types to pick from for matchmaking. Team Slayer, Big Team Battle, Rumble Pit, SWAT, Snipers, 2v2, and so on. What was really cool during the time when Halo 2 came out was the customization. You can now pick up the 2 colors for your Spartan, create your own emblem to stick out. Now you can play as an elite. I don't know about you, but back then, I mostly played as an elite. I know they have a bigger hitbox, but damn, at the time, that was, to me, the cool way to play Halo 2. Now though, in today's time, I still play Halo 2 in my OG Xbox like I said before. I play it online through X-Link, and if you've not heard about that, leave a comment down below and I'll talk to you about it and show you how to set it all up. It's really cool. But I like to play Halo 2 on X-Link more than I do on MCC. It just feels more at home, if you know what I mean. Halo 2 is a wonderful game and has the best story out of all the Halos. thanks to the anniversary and MCC on PC, it's going to live a long time. Though it has issues like narrowed levels, unfair legendary, effing sniper jackals, button combos which I really hate, so bite me, and some other small things, it can't be argued that Halo 2 is still a great game, even for today. Thank y'all so much for watching, y'all, and I really highly do appreciate it. It literally took me over a week or two just to get this video put together properly, and I could have done better with it. I could have worked harder on it, but I'm having a lot of hard time trying to get time to focus on it. So if you really enjoyed it, and I really hope you did, please leave a like. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when I upload new videos. And do hop on over to my Facebook channel, my Facebook page. I'm starting to stream on Facebook instead of Twitch from now on. They've already done some good things for me as it is. Yashime8, search that there. You'll find my page. Like and follow. I would highly appreciate it. Again, thank y'all so much, guys, and I'll see y'all next time.